Welcome everybody to episode 13 of Happywork TV. I am Chris Reimer, the host of Happywork TV and the author of this, Happywork. There it is, one more time. 13, interesting number. We here in America and perhaps in other parts of the world, we have this superstition about the number 13. I always found it interesting that St. Louis Rams Super Bowl winning quarterback Kurt Warner wore 13. He must not have cared. The other thing I always find interesting is Russian hockey players aren't afraid to wear the number. They, I guess, don't have that superstition over in Russia. Here we will build buildings where the elevator switches from 12 to 14. There's clearly a 13th floor. We're just not going to call it that. So am I nervous about this episode because it's 13? No. Now let's get it over with. I want to talk to you about the next commitment in this list of commitments that it's called, if you can see it there, the Happywork Agreement. So this company, Venori Inc., which is struggling mightily at the end as a last-ditch effort, they take this work code of conduct called the Happywork Agreement and they superimpose it over their business. So here is the 11th commitment. This is an employer and manager making a commitment to their employee. It says, lost the page. I will remember that I possess certain skill sets that my employees do not. Therefore, it may not be reasonable to expect from others sterling performance in areas where I excel. I will be patient. There was only one Michael Jordan on the Bulls. So I'm a sports fan. I always find a lot of interesting connections between sports and business, sports and life. I think there are lessons to be learned. If you don't spend any of your personal time watching sports, you're probably better off than me, but I do watch them, and I watch the NBA in particular, and I've always found the Bulls very interesting. Michael Jordan made it to 6 finals, and he won all 6. I think this was a testament to how absolutely amazing he was, how he would probably step on his mother's neck to win those 6, and the fact that they did have Scottie Pippen. He was pretty good too, one of the top 50 in the history of the NBA, so they had quite a team there. I think it was interesting when Magic Johnson became the coach of the Lakers for a short time. And I wasn't on the bench, but from what I recall, he wasn't very good at it. And one of the reasons was he was unable to impose his will on players who just didn't possess the same set of skills that he possessed, which was basically all of them. He was tall, he could shoot, he could pass. Magic Johnson could do everything. As a coach, he wasn't able to do all those things. And so I have found in business, when you have owners or managers who aren't afraid to hire people smarter than them, which was something we talked about a few episodes ago, you end up with a team of people who basically aren't afraid of each other, aren't intimidated by each other, aren't threatened by each other, and they decide that it's better to cooperate than compete, and they work together. I think in certain situations, though, we get into sort of a work culture where there are demanding owners and demanding managers. And I think that that's perfectly fine. It is possible that an owner or a manager is going to be a little more internally driven than the people who work for them. It is possible. Maybe over 50% possible. It's possible that you, as an owner or manager, will be managing people who have that same drive. So they maybe will be quote unquote self-starters. But I have worked in places where there wasn't a lot of patience for people while they were learning. If you don't have patience for someone who simply can't pick up the subject matter that you've hired them to handle, then, dialing back a few episodes, don't keep dead weight around. Again, hate to sound like a big jerk, but we are trying to run a business here. And if we give you every chance to learn and it just isn't working out for either party, maybe there's some other place where that person can go work. I think in this case, when you have ownership and management and they are, how can I put this? They're demanding, but it's not fair, unfairly demanding. So, like when I was a CPA, it was very unfair for me to expect the people who worked for me to know all the different things about accounting that I knew. And that's because I was a CPA, I'd passed the exam, I had way more experience than them. If you were a junior person it would be unfair of me to get on your case about something that I know that you don't know just because of experience or age, for instance. And in next episode, we'll talk about another sort of factor that plays into the ways that owners and managers and employees can, I guess, kind of rub bone on bone and have strife. But in this one, I guess just try to remember that the folks that work for you, if you have the right ones, they're going to be eager, they're going to want to learn, but you can't always expect the same performance that you can frankly expect of yourself. Episode 13, the unlucky 13, is in the books. Please do consider subscribing to my blog's email newsletter. I would greatly appreciate it. Happywork is up for pre-order right now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, 800 CEO Read, Powell's, bookstores everywhere. I would highly encourage you to take a look at it and put it on pre-order for me. And I will see you in episode 14. Thanks, guys.